Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here, and welcome to Mornings with 60 and Me. Today is Thursday, it's September 15th. Hope you're doing great this morning. I have got my morning cup of tea, my Earl Grey, and I hope you've got a nice cup of tea or coffee by your side there. Have a seat, and we'll go through some of the world news, what's going on in the world, and cover a few things I think might be interesting to you. I'm going to keep the news short today because I feel like we need a kind of feel-good day. It's just one of those days, and it's almost a weekend, so I hope that you've got some fun things planned. I would like to start, first of all, just a quick summary of what's going on in the world. I know this may seem a little bit repetitive sometimes, but everything changes day to day, and it's nice to know kind of what is going on. Well, of course, in Taiwan and China, they have just been battered by Typhoon Meranti. I saw the pictures last night, quite incredible, but it looks like there was a lot of damage. I haven't heard any casualty reports, but hopefully everyone is well. It's now slowed down a bit as it's gone over the China mainland, so let's keep our fingers crossed for Taiwan and China. In Syria, there's a relative calm after 3 days of truce. There have been no civilian casualties reported, so everything is calm right now. They've extended the truce for another 48 hours. Now, they're trying to get humanitarian aid into cities like Aleppo, and the trucks are held up right now on the Turkish border, but it's a formality, and hopefully people are going to get some food and supplies that they desperately need. In the United States, Hillary Clinton's doctor says that she is fine to serve, and Donald Trump has released his medical reports on air with Dr. Oz, and that I'm sure we'll be hearing about the reports later on today. But the race continues. In Brazil has filed corruption charges against its ex-president Lula. This is a very popular man, but he's been charged with corruption and money laundering related to a state-run company called Petrogas in Brazil. So he is now being charged. Now, you think politicians have got a tough job. I've got a little story here that might make you smile. This is about a person or a character, an animal called Diego. Diego's a turtle. He lives in the Galapagos. And honestly, if you think you have a tough job, his job is to keep his whole species alive. This is his job. And he's doing a great job. He is 100 years old, and he and his 7 wives are basically populating the entire species of this turtle. I think that's about 800 offspring he's had with his wives, and that's about 40% of their population. So Diego the turtle has got a tough job, but he is doing great. So I just thought that was a fun story. And it showed actually a quality that leads into an article that I was going to talk about today, and that is having grit. And now, grit is kind of one of those old-fashioned words, it's kind of like, has someone got grit? And it means, have they got strength? Have they got kind of the mental resilience and the character that it requires to get stuff done? And I guess that's a characteristic of a future president. But I just thought it was interesting. There's an article by a woman, her name is Angela Duckworth, and she wrote a book, and it's called Grit, The Power, Passion, and Perseverance. And perseverance is a word that I have, I've read a lot in the comments of our Women at 60 Me community. It seems to be something that we do develop with age, and it sometimes can be more powerful than talent, according to Angela. And by the way, as we're talking here, I'm chatting away, telling you stories, but if you've got any thoughts on any of this as I'm discussing it with you, just go ahead and leave your comments in the section below. This is meant to be a relaxed, comfortable format where you just feel like, it's part of your day. You can just join in anytime. So anyway, she talks about 4 characteristics and about a person who has grit. And I think that most women in our community have this. But here's the secrets. First of all, most people who have grit and determination are interested in what they do. They have a passion for what it is. They get up every day and decide, this is something that's important to me. This makes me whole. The second thing is they practice. Even when they get good at something, they just keep on doing it. And that applies to, hobbies, crafts, just anything that you do at work, relationships, just to keep doing it. And courage doesn't have to be achieving success every day, but it's that, that little voice that says, keep going. So that's practice. They have to have purpose. And purpose means that they have to be motivated by a sense that what they're doing is important and that what they're doing every day makes a difference. So purpose. And the final thing that she says is a characteristic of people with grit is to have hope. This is a tough one because I think as we get older, we've had hopes, we've had dreams, and sometimes they've not come to fruition. We've been disappointed. And being able to have hope in the midst of all of that, to believe that you can see yourself in the future. You can see yourself making a difference. That is really important. So those are my tips for having grit, and I think that a lot of us have it, and I just congratulate everyone that's been through tough times. I hear lots of stories in our community. It's very, very, very challenging, and I appreciate all your honesty and transparency. So I want to talk about something that I think you'll be interested in, and it's an article that's got a little bit of press the last few days. I love movies. I go to movies a lot. I love the artistic side of it, but I also love the escapism and the way that characters are developed. But if you haven't noticed recently, there aren't a lot of older people over 60, 65 in movies. And a research project was done by a group sponsored by Humana. It's a medical group, and the University of Southern California. And they actually found some interesting results. First of all, in the 100 films that were considered top films in 2015, there were hardly any leading actors or actresses who were over 60. In terms of men, there were, out of these 100 top movies, there were 47 movies that had no leading or supporting role of a man over 60. And in 78 of the movies, there were no leading women or supporting women in a role. So that's the first thing. We just don't have enough roles for older people. The report also shows that when we do have roles for older people, there are aging stereotypes attached to them. So in other words, there are phrases and words used that denigrate the older people. So, a senile old man or a weak and fragile woman or frail woman. So that's another thing is when you have a character, they're not really real because we know that's not us. We know that's not us in our 60s. In fact, it says here that they're also shown to be tech illiterate. How do you work the computer? How do you, and put in roles where they're actually positioned as being technological illiterates. And we know, the fastest growing demographic on Facebook and other social media sites is older women over 60. And actually 84% of older Americans say that they use the internet all the time, 84. So that's amazing. And I think that it's just unfair and it's inaccurate to show us in movies as being technologically illiterate. So I think, the other things they mention are that we're shown to be quiet and stay at home, not socially interactive. And of course, this is ridiculous because we are out there every day doing things. We're engaged. And of course, there is social isolation. There are challenges with aging. But this report really does show how seniors, in quotes, are not depicted fairly in movies. And, these traits that are so obvious in our age group, resilience, grit, all these strength and perseverance, just aren't shown in movies. So we need some new directors, new people writing scripts for older characters, lead and supporting actors and actresses. Now, quick note here. This is a fun one because I just don't know whether I would ever do this. Maybe this is a movie idea. In Pittsburgh today, in the States, Uber, car company, is launching its driverless cars service. They're just trying it out to see how it works. And of course, there will be a backup driver sitting there in case something happens. But today, if you order an Uber car in Pittsburgh, it's kind of random. They don't let you book it. You have to just hope that you're one of the lucky ones who has a driverless car show up. And anyway, it's kind of interesting that it's all being positioned as the future. This is the future of technology. And, I think that obviously we're not used to it, so it's kind of alien. But I just would like to ask you this question. Would you take a ride as a passenger in a driverless car? Well, a lot of motor companies, Tesla, others are counting on us saying yes to that question. But right now, I'm kind of maybe. And then the second thing is, would you drive a driverless car? Would you sit there behind a car that you had no control over? I mean, you could touch the wheel if you wanted, but would you be a driver of a driverless car? I'll be really interested to see your answers. I'm not going to make any judgment, but we'll see. I think it's kind of an interesting question. Okay, so I have a final article here, or topic I want to discuss with you. And it's autumn. I don't know what it is about the autumn weather for me. It makes me feel creative. I want to do things. I want to just explore, crafts and scrapbooking. And I love paper. I'm a paper person. And so, it just occurs to me that all of us have unique things that somewhere in our lives we picked up. We became passionate about some hobby or craft. And now in our 60s, we do it all the time. We love it. And, women in general, I think, like to create something out of nothing. We're creators in many ways. Men are too, but I think our generation of women are good at certain things. For example, in fact, I asked the community this. I sent a note out and said on a Facebook page, what hobbies do you like to do? And some of the answers were great. I mean, obviously the ones that came up in top were like reading, of course, is big, writing a journal, journaling, painting is obviously big, yoga, exercises like yoga were very popular. I'm looking at other things here. Cooking was great. One of my personal favorites, knitting. Lots of knitters in our community, and lots of people, by the way, that do volunteer work for knitting. Like they knit things like Knit for Peace, and there's Knit for AIDS, all different kinds of cool community groups that you can do your hobby for good. And then other people said things like Chinese calligraphy or metalworking. Got a great friend, Kathleen, who's a great metal worker. Jewelry making is another big thing. Of course, travel came up in top for me. But travel was really popular. And also things like gardening, really, really popular. Let's see, what else is there? Anyway, tell me what you like to do. This is one of the reasons I wanted to do this topic today. And just whatever it is, whether you're perfect at it or good at it, it doesn't matter. Just what little hobbies do you love to do? And share your website. If you have a blog where you do jewelry or painting, any kind of artwork that you could take a picture, just just send a link to your blog or website. We would love to share. And I want to share something with you because last night I love collage work. Where you take different pieces of paper and just cut them out and stick them together on a page and kind of put a glossy cover on it. And I was playing last night and I did one of my own. I wanted to share it with you. So here we are. This is my little painting that I did. And I just love the colors of it. And that's for me why I do it. It's not because I'm a great artist or anything. I just like that feeling of texture and shades of color, bringing it all together. And for me, the cool thing is as I do a little piece of work like that, thoughts come. I make associations. Like I remember there's a flower in here that reminds me of, flowers in my garden. And there's a little thing in there, little butterflies and just representative things. So I think that's what hobbies do, don't you? They just kind of help you to, relieve stress, relax, get away from your normal mind think, and start just thinking about new and exciting ideas. So I would love to see what you're doing. I don't know whether we have a feature where you can put a picture up on our website, but you can send it to me at margaret@60me.com, and maybe we'll put a little collage together and share what everyone's up to if you're doing any kind of artistic work. So that's my inspiration for today. Get out there, just grab a piece of paper and draw something, or do a little knitting project. Think about something fun that you can do today to express your creativity. And my question today is, what hobby would you recommend to our community? Just put it in the comment section below and share either what you love to do or just share with us a hobby that you would recommend to our community. I look forward to reading all your comments, everyone. I would love to see you here again tomorrow. Please tell a friend about Mornings with 60 and Me. You can send them up to 60andme.com/mornings. Then you can sign up and get the news first. It means a lot to me to know that I have your support, so please do that. And yeah, tell your friends. They might enjoy being here too. And anyway, have a great artistic, creative day, and tell us, what hobby would you like to recommend to our community? Take very good care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you all tomorrow back here on Mornings with 60 and Me.